exact amount with still and put it in the fridge. And my old man has somehow managed to recreate the perfect amount with sparkling.
Oh, who actually drinks sparkling water?
Check the hard drive.
So awful.
We don't know how he's managed to do that. Switch the room. Like, that was impressive.
That's classic Wes.
It doesn't make any sense to me. You know when people say, "Oh, when you get older, your taste buds will mature." Mine will never mature to.
To be fair, people used to say that to me about fucking beer, and I used to drink beer to be cool, but now I actually don't mind the beer. I used to drink it and think, fuck, man, is everyone else really enjoying this? Or we just sort of...
Do you remember the first thing you ever had?
Probably like some shit Carlin in a can. We used to get them because they were so cheap and they were just so fucking awful.
I remember it so clearly. I was at mine and it was New Year's and I was young. I was so young. I must have been, I don't know, like around 10, 11, maybe 12 tops. And I remember it, and obviously everyone was drinking like at mine, and there was Budweiser bottles. I remember having a sip and thinking, this is fucking awful. Why are people drinking this for enjoyment? And I was like,
why are you doing this?
I was like, is everyone else enjoying it, or are they all doing what I'm doing and just drinking it to, like, look cool, I guess. Like, there's nothing really else to do that. Terrible.
Playing the game, the illusion of being cool. Yeah, I used to hate beer and Guinness as well.
This is what I was going to say. I was going to say Guinness because you have to do you have to do the rule of like 6, I think it is. Because I remember it was when we used to go to the rugby club. You know what it was? Everyone used to drink it, and I used to always be the odd one out. I used to I can have beer, can have beer. So I thought to make my life easier, I'll have a Guinness. And the first one is the worst drink literally ever. And then all you got to do is you got to bite your tongue and keep drinking them. And then once you sort of break that little barrier, smooth sailing.
Get the taste for it. A little Guinness and black. I used to think, this tastes like barbecue flavoured coffee. That's what I used to think. Like, how the fuck are people enjoying this?
Twiglets.
I hate them. They're still shit.
My goodness.
They're still shit.
I get people have opinions. I get people like things that I don't like. I understand that, like, obviously. But Twiglets, genuinely, I'm 23 years of age and I've never understood how people actually eat them out of enjoyment.
No, that's twisted. You either love it or you hate it. Well, I fucking hate it. They're shit. They're shit.
And I think as well, they say Marmite flavoured. I don't want to be that guy, but like, I don't mind Marmite.
No, same. I'm on the fence, but I hate them.
Yeah, honestly, when I see people eat them, I just think,
you're twisted.
Thank you, right, how you been anyway, mate?
Yeah, all right. How you getting on?
Yeah, not too bad. What have you been up to this week?
Fucking training. Yeah, that's it really. Just getting it in, to be honest with you. Everything. Did some conditioning yesterday, some boxing, some jiu-jitsu the day before that. Just been getting it in.
I saw in your story that your leg kicked from...
Yeah, man. Feels alright, to be fair. I can't really feel it today, but...
I was going to say, I know that pain as well when you're holding pads and it's just going through and you're just sort of... everyone, do you know what I mean? Just sort of smiling through the pain a little bit.
The foot wrapping around my arse. It was bare hot after.
I was going to say, it's hamstringy. It looked like when...
Yeah. Well, I've had that before where the foot wraps around and it comes around and hits me in the bollocks. I've had that once. Yeah, it was Ryan. Ryan did it. I was like, how have you done that?
You squared off? Like, you must have been pretty...
Because his foot just wrapped round and hit me round the back of the ball. I don't know how, but...
Impressive. I'm just looking at a lot of questions.
Yeah. Super effective.
Did you see the video uploaded of Usman holding pads for Lima and Lima holding pads for Usman as well?
Oh, yeah. They're menaces.
Those leg kicks, mate.
They're menaces. Yeah, they split the bag.
Yeah, I saw all the stuffing come out and I was thinking, surely, like, they'd have
I don't know if that's an old video or an older video.
What, is it not new? I saw it everywhere.
I think so. I'm sure I've seen that before. And it was a top team bag as well, so I don't get it. I don't know.
I know that Lima's at top team, and obviously Usman's.
I'd love to see those two spar.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, they definitely have as well.
This is the thing. This is what I was thinking the other day. There's so many fighters on the roster that obviously I'd love to see certain fights and whatnot, but I just love to see their sparring footage. I can't
Yeah.
see that. It was sort of like Sean Strickland was talking a lot about it, like these last couple of weeks about him inspiring and whatnot. Because he says he's an awful sparrer, but I don't think what he says makes him an awful sparring partner. I think an awful sparring partner is someone that comes out.
I know, yeah.
Just comes out and just obliterates you and like puts a pace that you don't really want to do. But he comes out and he says, I'm gonna be a dick. Like if you want to participate in that, do. If you don't,
Yeah.
I don't really think that makes you that bad, really. To be fair.
Yeah, that's just how he likes to spar.
Yeah.
He's not like keeping anything from you. He's just getting in.
Did you see?
I might change his Wi-Fi. To be fair, am I cutting a lot?
No, you're fine.
Oh, sweet.
Did you see him
Living
the other day, like his post-fight press conference?
Yeah, he's great. He's coming up quickly as one of my not favorites, but like I'm into it. Do you know what I mean? He's just
for sure.
Doesn't give a fuck. He's just being himself, saying whatever he wants to say.
Whatever he wants to say.
Yeah, sometimes too much. Like he probably shouldn't have said that, but I kind of rate it. Like in a world of snowflakey people that get offended over everything, there's something to be said for someone that just doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, no, I agree. To be honest, but he treads such an interesting line because he had that whole sort of spit about the porn thing, which I thought was funny, and then in his press conference, he was saying how he would happily kill someone in the ring and he'd quite embrace that, and like he would happily let that. And I was a bit like, ooh,
yeah,
it's a little bit extreme on that one. It's like, I'd love to keep him in the ring. I'd embrace that. I'd walk around with him.
yeah.
I was a bit like, I'm pretty sure about that one.
Yeah. What else did he say? He was like, go and do loads of drugs if you want, but just make sure you haven't got an addictive personality.
Yeah, because
kids need to do some cool shit.
Well, this was it. Actually, that was what I was saying the other day. I was laughing at what he was saying about that. He was like, "Yeah, this society has just gone a bit soft." I literally agreed with absolutely everything he was saying. It was like he was just ticking points off. He was going this. I was like, yep. And then he was like, I think we need another war. I think that's really what's gonna make this country less soft. And I was like, I'm not so
Sean
sure.
Strickland for president.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. Not sure about the war call, but
yeah.
Apart from that, yeah, which I guess sort of segues us quite nicely into the next topic we've got in our notes, which is arguably probably the biggest thing in the MMA world at the moment.
Big.
Is Conor McGregor's tweet.
Like, there is something to be said for saying whatever you think, but to an extent, fuck me. Like, it's just terrible. It's not even creative, funny. It's just fucking horrible. He's not even fighting the geezer.
Humorous. Like, all of that goes strongly out the window with that tweet. And the savage thing as well, I say savage, but obviously after everything that happens, we won't go into it because everyone sort of knows their history. His old man, before he'd even passed away, came out in an interview and said, that's behind us. If Conor's welcome to our house, and if he comes round, he'll be treated as a guest, and that's in the past. They were literally some of the last words that he spoke about Conor McGregor. That, and then to come out and say that was, and it's funny what you said because that's exactly what Khabib said. I think TMZ, I was going to call him TMZ, and then I was like, no.
TMZ. TMZ sounds weird though.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? TMZ just sounds proper, but I don't know.
Yeah, you got
lose my roots.
Got to do it.
But TMZ basically asked him the other day,
Got to do it.
and that's what he said. He just said, he literally said 2 words: terrible. That's all he said. Terrible. And I was like, yeah,
I saw that. Yeah.
Not a lot more to say.
Not wrong.
It's you can't help but watch him these days, and it really strongly feels like a fall from grace at quite a fast speed as well. I saw a video of him literally about 30 seconds before we jumped on the call. I don't know if you saw it last night, and he was like smoking a blunt, which I mean isn't really that shocking. it's just the noises he was making. I was like, this fella's not all there. Like he was just
What
sort
was
of
he doing?
mate, he was making his faces. I won't do it too close to the mic for the podcast listeners, but he's like making his faces and going like,
Yeah, I'm not into that.
but like not even really looking like he's playing up too much, just looking like that's
Yeah,
his thing. Like it's just sort of that sort of
he just
soothing.
embodied the character.
Honestly, mate, I find, and I went back the other day. You saw me. I went back and watched the old presses with like Khabib and even the fight. I watched the whole build up, the whole post, everything. And you know when you're on YouTube and something just rolls through, and
Yeah, you're like, all right,
yeah, and I'm
I'll watch that.
like, yeah, I'll definitely watch this. And you watch it all back now, and it's a completely different experience. It's a completely different experience, and it's quite uncomfortable at a lot of times. Like,
Yeah,
sort of watching it a bit, keep cringing out a little bit, and then he
because
sort of,
he was drunk. Like he was drunk during that presser, and it's like when you're sober and someone else is drunk, you're like, what the fuck are you on about? You know what I mean?
on a different level. It's not even that you bite to their responses; you just sort of look at them and like, ooh,
Yeah,
what?
yeah. It was a strange one. It's entertaining, but it's like it's becoming not entertaining. If that makes sense. It's like it's not all right if you're winning, but it's better if you're winning. You know, if you're losing and saying this shit, you just look like a bit of a sort of loser in reality.
It's quite literally what it is as well. And it's like what you said. It's not to say, oh, if you win, you can say whatever you want. But when you're winning and you're calling these particular knockouts and you're executing it and you're winning titles and championships, it takes a lot of emphasis away from what you're saying as well, like the bad things. And a lot of people, you know what it's like in this industry, a lot of people focusing on successes. So they're showing the highlight reel knockouts and they're showing,
Yeah,
so it takes a lot of that away. And now where you strip it back and he doesn't have those knockouts, hasn't won in however many years, and now you just have that sort of bitter, sort of twisted, not witty, sort of just aggressive. It's all a bit. Even the big
it's
die-hard fans of McGregor are looking at him a bit like, I'm struggling at the moment. I'm struggling to sort of support this.
yeah, it's sad really because like who he was and what he did for the sport. Like his trash talk on the way up never got this far. It's got dark. It's just got so dark recently,
And that's it.
and it is.
He's not got that.
It's sad to see.
I saw quite an interesting point the other day, and I don't know how true it is. I mean, it's quite speculation, but a lot of them were saying where he's, because he's always been a charismatic sort of witty fella, isn't he? And then
Mm,
I, someone sort of mentioned when you're, I can't remember what fight it was, to be honest. They were sort of mentioning when you're not in camp every day or you're not in train every day around a sort of big group of people, like bouncing off each other and just sort of bantering people, and like you have literally butlers to do everything. You saw an embedded where there was like a security guard and he was like, "Here you go, sir." And he like opened up his, I don't know why I found this so weird. He like opened up his AirPods for him. So like Conor McGregor could like put his AirPods in, shut him, went, "There you go, sir," and walked off. And he didn't even say thank you, which I thought was very good. Like,
yeah,
when you have that environment, you don't have anyone to sort of banter, to sort of give it to you. Do you know what
no,
I mean? Like
you don't get reality checked.
no, of course
He's
not.
pretty.
It's very much like, "Oh, what can I do for you? Are you okay?" It's not,
Yeah,
"You look shit." Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
funny.
Yeah, it's weird. And it's like if you oppose the two, right? It is literally. It feels like Khabib and McGregor. This is good versus evil. It's like Khabib is just like the best person. Like you can't really hate on him. Like super religious, super respectful, very good fighter, great coach, which we'll touch on in a little bit. It's like you're going up against someone that is just coming across as a far better human being than you, and he's beat you in a fight. So you're kind of
Far better fight.
outgunned here. It's
On
hard to root for you.
it's so hard to root for you, and not to mention where Islam Makachev come out the other day. We'll make his last one and we'll go on to the next one. But he came out the other day and basically said how Khabib goes through their whole goes through their whole camp with them. Then puts them up like when they have their fight, let's say in Vegas, that he buys, like he rents a massive house for everyone, pays for all the food,
Yeah.
the transportation, everything. Doesn't ask for any money whatsoever. He just does this for his camp. And then literally the other day you watched him like pick the fighter knocked up off the cage.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, how has he got this? Well, not a bad guy persona, but how has he managed to fall on the wrong side of this? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, how can you have that much hate towards that guy? It's
Sort of partially becoming one of my favorite fighters. But anyway,
yeah,
that
no,
sort
for
of
sure.
leads us quite nicely into the 155 division with, I mean, there's been a lot of announcements recently, a lot of talk.
Yeah, it's getting juicy.
Engaging
Not to mention.
Chandler.
Yeah, yeah. There's juiciness left, right, and centre. It's all like forming. Now McGregor's somewhat out of the mix for a little bit, you know, because he always makes traffic because he's only one win away from clogging up the division.
Exactly that.
You know, so now that he's out, it's almost not better, but it reminds me of like when John Jones moved up. It's like, okay, now the other guys can sort of duke it out and all actually fight each other. There's not as much politics.
I think as well. I mean, I know I'm not taking anything away from what McGregor sort of done, and it's the same with John Jones in a sense. Not so much that he sort of transformed the sport, but the fact that there's so much spotlight and so many journalists him, it takes away a lot from the division. So like now we sort of aren't speaking as much as John Jones at 205. That division's getting fucking tasty.
Yeah, it's nice.
Really tasty. And it was always a bit stagnant, wasn't it? Like heavyweight, always a bit like, yeah, some decent fights, but nah. And now
it's always...
it's looking properly exciting, especially with Gustafsson coming back with Paul Craig, which is going to...
Yeah, no, there's so much shit going down. I feel like just so much shit's got announced the past few days. Like, I'm sure we've got like an order of what we want to talk about, but there's just so much to sink our teeth into, and we haven't even touched on Saturday's card. So it's a good time to be an MMA fan, for sure.
You got a light on in your room?
I've got the light on.
Oh yeah, there we go. It's just because where you went closer when you were dark.
Did I go all dark?
Yeah, dark, C-Max, human.
Went all evil and that.
Yeah, so like as we were saying, yeah, Justin Gagey, Michael Chandler. I think when you look to that lightweight division, there's so many matchups you can make. But I think if I was to sort of draft one up for Justin Gagey, it probably would be Michael Chandler, to be honest. What do you think?
Yeah, take my cash money, Dana. Even though I may end up streaming it, but for legal purposes, that is a complete joke. No, yeah, for sure. It's a sick fight. It's a serious fight. It's two similar guys, you know. In terms of like predictions, pain. No, I think they're just gonna. I think they're just gonna scrap. To be honest with you, and it's whoever's gonna fall first. I would give the power advantage to Chandler. Like, I don't think Gaethje's overly powerful, but I think he's more kind of volume. It's just he'll just throw everything at you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just, man, I love Justin Gagey. Like, he's so, because obviously we all know his wrestling credentials, and he's so public about the fact that I've wrestled my whole life. Like, I find it boring. I don't want to do that. I want to stand and bang, and I love that. And it's even to the point of he's had fights before where he could have won the fights if he just utilized his wrestling, because realistically, he's one of the best wrestlers in that division. He's utilized his wrestling and played it safe, and he's just like, I don't want to do that. I want to scrap, and that's how you get a fan base. So this is. But the thing is, I can't see Michael Chandler being that person, and definitely not after losing a title fight, and he wants to quickly. So I feel like he's gonna. I don't know. Maybe they cancel each other out. Maybe Chandler doesn't even bother. They cancel.
Yeah.
And they just. And bang.
Yeah, you do see that often with two elite wrestlers. You know, they just sort of think, "Oh, fuck this!" Like, you know, I probably can't take you down. If I can, I can't keep you there. So let's kick.
You think about it, just constant scrambles for position, wrestling, like
grueling. Even wrestlers don't like to wrestle. It's grueling. It's grueling.
That really separates the men from the boys. But that sort
of
talking about the segues quite nicely into a pair of wrestlers. I've got on my notes Usman Colby 2.
On the same card, right?
Yes, yeah.
That's on the same card. Or if I made that up.
Yeah, no, it is. As it stands, Usman Colby is the main fight as it stands, and Justin Gaethje, Michael Chandler, the co-main. And the only reason I say is that as it stands because
Yeah.
there is speculation. I do say speculation with a big capital speculation. Is Adesanya Whitaker could potentially get put on that, which would be
On that card?
on that card.
That's disgustingly good.
Card. And
Yeah.
I said the other day, and I genuinely mean this, I think this could be, if that gets made, this could be one
Yeah.
of the best fight cards of all
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
for sure.
There's nothing that I would miss that for. Like, I'm trying to think what could pop up that I would ever miss that. Like, I'd rearrange funerals, weddings, you name it. I'm watching that card, no doubt about it. But yeah, that's unbelievable. Don't get married on that day, anyone that knows me, because I will not be there.
How many
That's
weddings have
juicy.
you been to in the last year, or 2 years, or 3 years?
I've been to one wedding in my life, but no, my luck, that'll be the second.
I think it's October, November.
November, I think it's the end of November.
268, isn't it? I know it's 268. November 22nd.
Yeah, so like the end of November.
Did
You ain't got a wedding, have you?
No. I was just
Oh, thank God.
I was thinking if that Costa Vittori was
Oh, shall I have a look?
and that's October. I think that got booked in for October time. I think you just sent it.
Yeah.
To me,
Yeah, I did. That's another elegant segue, but I do want to speak about, October 23rd. I want to speak about this Colby Usman fight because it's
it needs,
juice.
it needs to run,
It-
for sure.
that. Yes, good fight. I just think Usman. It's hard, right? Because he's had. I don't know how many fights he's had since the last Colby fight, but he's just looked so good, Usman.
Yeah.
And Colby has looked good. And we know he's good, but it's like. Say again.
No, I'm having a look since the Colby fight because obviously he's had
Froze. Yeah, have a look.
Yeah, he's had 3.
Burns,
So
Masvidal twice.
and Gilbert Burns. And if you actually look at these wins, I mean, the first Masvidal fight, obviously not an amazing fight, but he still got a win. And then the Gilbert Burns fight, which was a very impressive performance, and then the Jorge Masvidal fight, which, I mean, if you're sleeping Masvidal for the first time in 50 fights, then sort of says quite a lot for you and Trevor Whitman, I believe.
Yeah, that's impressive. Yeah.
How do you sort of see
Yes, Big Trev. I'm sure we'll break down predictions.
Similar thing in terms of
it's hard, right?
Elite wrestlers.
Come on.
I was just going to say, obviously, it's different. It's a similar sort of thing because obviously both elite wrestlers didn't wrestle much last time, if at all, really.
Yeah.
There or thereabouts cancel each other out, and if it stands on the feet, then
yeah, who's got a better engine?
That's it, really, isn't it?
Like, it's mad, right? Because Colby's kind of built for more endurance, but then Usman's just got such an engine with that frame and that power. It's crazy. Like, the level of conditioning.
So efficient these days as well, don't you think?
Yeah.
So efficient. Sits behind that jab, which is a laser beam. She's an
Yeah, he's got so much better since their last fight.
I think if you look at the first fight, which Dana Fight, that's a good name for him, isn't it? Dana White said was one of his favourite fights in UFC history, which is an impressive call. But if you look at
he loves it.
And you look how close it was. I know that Usman obviously went on to win that. If you look how close it is, if you look what's happened in that period of time, there's a lot to be said about how many adjustments and improvements Kamaru Usman has made, and it's difficult to sort of speak to that level because we just haven't really seen him. I mean, he's had one fight and he's back in there, and all that we've seen from Usman is activity first and foremost, which I've got to give him a shout out for because he is an active champ, and that's all you can really ask for. Him and Izzy, I think they're averaging about every 3 months at this moment, which is pretty obscene, to be honest. And yeah, we just
Yeah, that's crazy for a championship level fight.
It's mental. If you think that's what 4 fights a year, yeah, 4 fights a year. That is
4 championship fights a year.
4 5 rounds.
Stats.
4 5 rounders. Like think of the camps go through that anyway. And then that's obscene. So yeah, I reckon it will probably play out on the feet again, and it's just gonna
for sure.
Does Colby's volume cancel out Usman's efficiency these days? And he just picked his shot so nicely. Most of that shot as well. So it's a tricky one.
Colby keeps calling him the CEO of EPO. Like he does make me laugh. Like you got to just take it for what it is. You know what I mean? He's playing a character, but I've just got to laugh at it.
That's what I struggle with. That's what I think he's pretty funny. I actually don't hate him, but the thing I struggle with is when you have that persona, right? I find it weird because let's take Masvidal for example. He obviously knows him, and it's like me looking at you, like walking around with this act. I'm just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
That's not you. Like, what are you doing, mate? Why are you saying those things? Like,
and then we have to fight.
Yeah,
that would fuck with your head though. You'd be like, what is going on?
I'll be lost. Imagine us in a presser. You're like putting on this persona of like.
I'm like this avid Trump support, left wing, straight talking, blue collared American. You're like, what are you doing?
Where have you pulled that out from? But to be fair to him, he's a smart businessman. Like he plays the game. Like he plays the game. You know, I think we all know in this industry, it's not just a fight industry; it's an entertainment industry. And if you can entertain, you keep relevant, and also,
and he does.
Yeah, and he does. And I'm not saying he doesn't deserve the title shot, but if you have that pull, if you have that pay-per-view pull, and you have that sort of character, and you have that press conference sort of charisma, then it's going to be a lot easier. And I don't mean to hate on him because I love Leon Edwards, but it's going to be a lot easier for Colby Covington to get a title shot than it is Leon Edwards.
Yeah, for sure.
And although I really, really wanted Leon Edwards to get that title shot after, and I was a little bit upset when Dana came out and was like, no, it's Colby. Now it's sort of in that run-up, I'm excited.
It's Colby, It's Colby.
It's Colby. And I don't think I'm sort of 180 like that, but it's that sort of.
I'd much rather watch Colby fight for it than Leon, and that's just as a Brit as well. That's bad, but they'll get this fight done. Then Leon can get the shot. Now that we've been teased with this fight, I need it.
It's weird. Leon sits in that weird position now because he sort of shot himself in the foot a little bit because he's
with the Diaz fight.
Yeah, well, not even a Diaz fight, just afterwards, because obviously he came out and I sort of respect it, and he was, my next fight's going to be for the title. He was like, my next fight's going to be for the title, and that's it. And then he was like, okay, I want to take it. Well, obviously the fight's going to be at the end of the year, and that title fight wouldn't be till next year anyway. So he was like, I want to take a little bit of time off until then. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, you've been inactive for a couple of years.
Yeah, we need.
You need to sort of. You need to keep fresh. And also, he said that, and then Gilbert Burns has said, like, Leon, where you at, sort of thing. And now Leon's like, oh, why are you running? And I'm thinking, you said you weren't going to fight, and now you're saying
you ain't been about.
You ain't really here for it, though, mate. And to be fair to Gilbert Burns, he had called out everyone, and he is game for everyone.
He just wants to fight. Yeah, I respect it.
And I guess
I'm back.
While we're here in the welterweight division, we may as well. I'll tell you what, this isn't even intentional. But these are just riding straight through. Colby.
Nothing scripted here. We're just.
Yeah. Colby versus. I mean, this is obviously all just conversation at the moment, and there's a lot of ifs and buts, and the ifs and buts being Colby to beat Kamaru Usman, which I personally can't see happening, and Dustin Poirier being Charlie Olives, which I can see. Colby and Dustin, well, sort of agreed, sort of not agreed, are talking about getting it on at 170, which I find Or even I think Colby came out the other day and said, I'm not a big 170, I'll meet you at a catch weight, and sort of like 165 or 160, I think they said. which is interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm into that for sure. Ex-training partners, it sells. I think as much as like Colby gets a piss take, it's kind of smart, right? Because if he wins the belt, well, no, he could have that Masvidal fight, but like Poirier is arguably the hottest thing in MMA right now, like outside of like Adesanya. Do you know what I mean? There's something to be said for what have you done recently, and coming off like 2 stoppage wins from against McGregor is
As big as it gets, really. Realistically, like you can't really.
big time, big time for sure. So it is smart. He's kind of planting the seed. Go on.
I was just saying, cut a little bit. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's clever. I think he's sort of not putting all these. It's not putting all these eggs in one basket, but he's keeping his options open. I think that's the thing with Colby. I think he creates a lot of friction and sees where there's a fire, so he's always sort of maintaining that sort of relevancy and pull as well. Because, like we sort of spoke about earlier, it's clever. If there's a big if he wins that belt against, and that's another thing. Is again lots of ifs and lots of maybes, but if Colby were to win and Dustin were to win, they wouldn't be able to. He wouldn't be able to fight for the lightweight belt at a catch weight, would he? So it would have to be what, just an exhibition.
Yeah, just be a, you could call it a super fight, and like it's real, you know. They actually dislike each other. They're ex-training partners. Poirier genuinely dislikes him. There's actual beef there, maybe a little bit fabricated by Colby to sell a few tickets and stuff, but they don't like each other. This is not an act. They weren't best mates like Masvidal was. Like they're not mates, and they want to fight. And I'm into it. Whatever happens, even if he loses and Poirier loses, I'm into it. You know, I will watch that. Some beef.
He's a massive lightweight.
Yeah.
He walks around at like 200,
Yeah.
which is quite crazy when you think about it, because he's a big boy, that's for sure. So I think that's what Colby was saying the other day as well. It's not even like, oh, he's going down to fight the little lightweights. It's more a case of Dustin fighting where he just doesn't have to cut as much weight. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm very much
he's a thick boy for sure.
Which brings us into what we've got next on the notes. Cody, Kai France. I like that matchup. I like that.
Yeah.
I think that's it. I think that's a good. I think that's nice stylistically as well. I don't.
For sure.
Do you know what I mean? That's going to be a stand and bang, and it's going to be who can
just bleed, bro.
Yeah, just let me bang, bro.
Let me bang. I wasn't knocked out.
Every time I watch that, it doesn't lose the shock factor for me. Like,
unbelievable.
He's snoring as well.
Yeah.
He's actually snoring, and he nails him as well, by the way. Nails him. Flush. And it... Oh.
For those that don't know, explain what...
Oh, yeah. So, I realise I'm speaking in absolute code here. So, for those that haven't seen it, there's a episode on The Ultimate Fighter where... I can't remember who they are now, the two fighters. Completely slipped.
I don't know who they were.
But... Anyway, basically, he's sitting down, and the Ultimate Fight, I mean, they're locked together for 6 weeks with no TV or newspapers or anything like that whatsoever. So I can imagine they're going a bit stir crazy. And on top of that, they've all probably got a screw loose to some degree anyway. So he's sitting down in the toilet, and he's asking one of the other contestants to like punch him in the face, like on the chin. He was like, oh, don't knock me out, but shut. Punch me hard, like. Punch me hard as you can, but don't knock me out. And he's sitting there, like hands behind his back. And his mate goes up to him and just lands a right hook so flush on his chin. It is
straight on his face, yeah.
Yeah, like it's on the button as well, because these fighters can do this in the midst of action, let alone just a sitting target. Like he's analysed his spot, he's taken aim, and he fired. And this fella has just... Well, he's just knocked out, and he's just gone over completely. He's like curled up on the side, just like snoring, and then like he's
one out though.
Yeah, his mates woke him up and like literally awoken him. And he's like, yeah, I weren't knocked out or anything. And I'm like, wait till you watch that.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait till you
You
watch
you
that.
starched.
Which sort of reminds me a
You
little
was
bit as of what we were just saying, the last Cody knockout we saw, because it was a little bit of a disappointing performance against Rob Font. I think he was just outclassed, to be honest, on the night. I think he was just outboxed, he was outjabbed, and he was just outclassed. He couldn't really.
step behind.
Yeah, that's it. I just don't think he could get his power or his speed to his advantage like he usually does. And yeah, Rob Font just outclassed him. I thought he looked really, really good. So this is
Solid performance.
this is a really nice matchup for Kai Kai France, because obviously he came,
Big opportunity as well.
yeah, 100%, because he was sort of slowly rising through that ranks. He's been there or thereabouts for a while now, and he had that nice knockout in his, I can't remember, Bobino Bartrino, I think his name was, something along those lines. Remember when Herb Dean ran over?
Yeah.
That was his last performance. So Cody coming off a loss and Kai coming off a win. So yeah, it's going to be a battle of the boxers, really. I'm quite looking forward to that.
It's interesting as well because for Kai Kara France, I don't know what he's ranked, but Cody was meant to go down and fight for the belt. So if he does this, he has every right to be like, look, I looked at what would have been the number one contender if he didn't get ill, or I'll beat him however he wins. Give me the shot. Give me the fucking shot, mate.
Don't quote me. I think Kai Kara France is floating around 7, 8 off the top of my head.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, so he's up there for sure. And this is big brand recognition for Kai Kara France. And I mean,
Not huge.
and if you're walking in to the Oxfacon with a nickname like Don't Blink, and you're facing Cody Garbrandt, that's going to be exciting, because he quite literally is one of the fastest punchers on the roster for sure.
These hands are scandalous.
Oh, they are lightning. They're absolutely lightning.
Yeah,
I think sometimes
he'll crack you.
Yeah, I think sometimes for Cody, it's a little bit more of a mental battle sometimes than a physical one. I think sometimes it's.
I think so.
You know what I mean? I think sometimes it's how he prepares mentally and how he sort of feels mentally going into that, because obviously we saw his. I don't want to say his maximum potential against Dominic Cruz, but we saw what he was capable of, and it must be frustrating because every time you want to go out, you want to recreate that, because you've seen how good you can be against one of the greatest to ever.
For sure.
Yeah, that's an interesting one, and it's sort of again, unless you got another note for this, it sort of slides us into more light boys, which is I've bunched these together, and I'll tell you what, but AJ McKee, as of the other evening, Bellator champ and £1 million winner.
Do you see what people? I don't know why I found this so funny, but you know, like the animal protection rights, Peter.
Yeah.
They were like, "Oh my god, someone's choking out a bulldog," and they was like, "Oh my god, please send us a video." And they sent them that, and they was like, "Brilliant." I found it hilarious. I thought it was so funny.
I would love to have made that tweet as well.
Video of a man choking out a pit bull. Sorry, a pit bull.
Yeah, I knew what you meant. Oh, when you said bulldog, I was thinking, I know what you mean.
Yeah. Still hilarious.
That was impressive as well. Just to talk about that quickly, that was impressive finish against Pitbull as well. I mean, it doesn't, in terms, we talk about brand recognition with Cody Garbrandt, it doesn't really get much bigger than Patricio Pitbull, does it?
The Champ.
And for £1 million check as well. I mean,
yeah, that's big from Bellator.
It's obviously these fighters are. I mean, half of the game is sort of performing under the lights and executing it, but there's something to be said as well. When there's £1 million on the line, it all becomes a little bit more. I know that if you're in the UFC and obviously you win the title and you win the champ status, you'll get your riches through like PPV points, stuff like that. But I mean, when there's a check, there's a geezer standing up there with a comical large check, and it's got 1 million. To go and
them 6 O's.
Yeah, to go and do that with 6.
Yeah.
7 figures. To go and do that against Pitbull, it was impressive. I mean, head kick. He knocked him out pretty much. He pretty much knocked him out, walked away, and then thought, oh, okay, I'll choke you out instead. And then literally choked him unconscious. So, I mean, that's as convincing a win as you could
Yeah, for sure.
Do you know what I mean? You can't, if you're Pitbull, you can't say a lot to that, really, can you?
It's like he's beat him twice almost.
Oh, Hunter, I looked at that and I thought you've beat him twice. Like even if you wanted
Yeah,
to match you, there it is. That's the second
yeah,
one.
yeah.
The
Still
second,
no.
the second one was the guillotine that put him to kip as well.
Yeah, yeah,
Nigga tap just slept him.
yeah.
Great.
No, it was very impressive. I don't know if that was that for the belt.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
yeah.
a Millie, a cool Millie.
Yeah, and belt. But it's interesting because he was in an interview the other day, AJ McKee, and he was asked about obviously the featherweights in the UFC, whether he gets signed or not. I don't know. I don't. A lot of people talking about cross promotion, but can't really see it.
Dana won't.
Can't see it happening myself. It's a bit of a lose-lose really because Bellator's numbers are not like their numbers from the other Saturday night against Fight Night. Fight Night at 900,000 viewers, and I think
Yeah,
that the Bellator card peaked at 177,000. So yeah, that sort of shows the level. So there's not a lot of pull from Bellator, and then if they were to lose, if whoever were to lose against AJ McKee, if he was fighting out of Bellator, it would sort of people would be like, oh, is UFC like the Premier Division sort of thing?
yeah, 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 yeah.
It's
It's like if he goes in and gets smoked, it's like yeah, we know that. And then if he does beat one of the top guys, it's like oh, are these guys not the best in the world?
yeah.
So
And
that
he came out and said the other day he was sort of asked about the featherweights. He said, "I don't. Did you see him speaking about it?"
no, I didn't see it.
He said basically the main three. He called out because I know you had Max Holloway in it, which sort of brings us on to our next one. He said
Mm,
Max Holloway has always been his dream fight. He said he's always loved the fight with Max Holloway, and I mean, rather you than me. He's all
yeah, good luck with that.
it's all I could think when I saw that. Rather you than me. He then said Brian Ortega triangled him when he was 19 in a jiu-jitsu match. So
Shit happens, bro.
he said he wants to get that one back. And he said nothing personal. He was just he said I need that one back, and he went this time it's kicks and punches. So I'm assuming it was a jiu-jitsu match. And then he said Volkanovski, and he said Volkanovski. He was like, I'll send him back to rugby, and I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Get him changing sport and shit.
I was like, it's one thing to just say, no, I'll beat him. It's another thing to say, yeah, I'll fucking get rid of him back to rugby.
Yeah, I like Volk. He can stay around. Yeah, I don't want him to be a fat rugby player again.
Yeah, I like Volk. And that's sort of, because you wrote,
Upset me a bit.
you've got Volk Ortega tough here as well, don't you?
Yes, I need to watch last night's episode, but I've been up to date with it so far. I'm kind of enjoying it. I like watching the fights, but distinct lack of drama for me. I need that shit talk. I'm invested in the fight because I'm a fucking hardcore fan, but I need that little bit more. I think I don't know when they're fighting. What date is their fight? September, I want to say. That's not that far away.
Late September, I believe.
Nice. I'm into it. I'll watch that.
Yeah, late September, I'm sure it is. Yeah, no, I agree. As an ultimate fighter lover, an absolute
Yes.
lover. I mean, throughout lockdown, I literally would do a whole season in not much more than one day. There's a lot of episodes as well. Yeah, it's been honestly the worst one I've watched probably so far. I mean, excluding the fights, just to touch on the last week's fight was an absolute. That was one of the best fights I've ever seen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Legit, a very, very, very good scrap. But you know exactly what you said. Lack of drama, lack of production around the house. I know
Yeah.
we've been quite friendly, and I think a lot of them train together or friends, whatnot, and it's all very respectful and whatnot. But there hasn't been much. Well, I say there hasn't been much. There hasn't been any footage whatsoever of them in the house doing stuff.
Yeah.
Like, whether it's been arguing, whether it's even just been playing foosball, I don't know. Nothing. Like, absolutely nothing. And I think back to all the reasons, and what makes the fights even better is all that build up in the house. Because
yeah.
why make them live together for 6 weeks or whatever it is? No phone, no TV, no distractions, nothing, and then not show us any footage of that whatsoever. They may have stayed at home.
Yeah. Let's watch the home videos.
Yeah, 100%. But there's some scrappers in it tonight. It's because we watch it obviously day after, and it's that Brian battle against Arlovski's younger brother. What's his name?
Yes, Andre.
The good-looking fella, just with the
A
rig.
handsome fuck.
He-
Yeah. Have you watched it yet?
No, I always watch it on the Wednesday evening. I think he comes out Tuesday at like 2 a.m. or something. So
Yeah, fuck that.
Wednesday,
Yeah, I'm into it. I just want a little bit more drama. But the fight's good. The featherweight division's good. A few little bits and bobs going on, which I'm sure we can discuss.
See Brian Ortega again, if I'm honest. I'm excited.
Yes.
He's a problem, and he only gets better. And the truth of it is, as well, if you look at his history, and I mean, obviously the Max Holloway fight sticks out the most, but
Yeah, I mean,
he's been in there with the best.
yeah.
He's been in there with the best, and he is a competitor, and he's a very, very well-rounded martial artist. So it's going to be a tough test for Volk, I think. A tough test, but we've seen him go to war, and he loves a war as well.
Yeah, no, it'd be sick. It's a great fight.
I don't think
it's a great fight. It's a great division, to be fair.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, 1,000%. Especially at that top, there are some exciting scraps. But yeah, they was. It felt like Ortega was just trying to, I don't know, force a little bit of a narrative. I don't think Volk really plays those games. You know what I mean? You know what they're like. They're pretty straight cut. They'll tell you how it is, sort of things. You know what I mean? They're not, never really find them. They're too fake. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That should be a decent scrap. As you move on to the next one, I'm actually going to fight. I haven't actually got another one on there. I've only got I've got Saturday's fights to discuss on this.
But you know what? Quickly is a good fight in the featherweight division.
Go on.
Barboza is fighting that Giga Chikeze, I think is how you say it. That's a serious fight.
Chikeze. No, that's
Giga Chikeze.
Yeah, because I always
that's right.
Because there's another fighter, the English fighter, who's
that's Dick Casey.
Yeah, who fought Fitzeve. Is like Casey. So I always he's pitted as a future champ. That Chikeze as well. So that should be
Giga.
Yeah, it should be a very interesting. September 5th is the Volk final.
Yeah, I think the end of August is this Barboza one. That's a serious fight, you know. Like Giga's a world-class kickboxer. Barboza is probably a world-class kickboxer. So like, let's get it on.
The kick part as well of that.
Yeah. Well, Giga has his own kick. He'll throw like a lead leg round kick, switch kick, but he'll point the toes into the liver. He dropped Cub Swanson's with it. Yeah, it's disgusting. It's like kind of like a karate kick, but he does it against everyone. And it's disgusting.
Did you get a knockout? TKO?
Yeah, it's a stoppage. It's the same as a body shot, right? It's still a stoppage.
That was violent.
Yeah.
Really, really violent. I remember when we were watching that, and that was early on as well. Was that not first round?
It may have been, yeah.
He's strange, isn't he? He's like very elusive, very light on his feet. I know they're light boys, but I mean, he moves quick, and he's just sort of that air of unpredictability that I really, really like. And then just out of nowhere came, that exactly what you said, that sort of stabbing liver kick. And
it's horrible.
Who's a savage as well when he's on right.
Yeah.
Just drop out of nowhere. I mean, there's not a lot you can really do if you get one of those in the air.
You're not toughing that out. There's no level of willpower that's going to make you want to get up. It's just a perfect shot that you just can get. It's just money. So unorthodox and so hard to prepare for.
And that sort of leads us into the next topic of conversation, which is this Saturday, which I've got.
Yes, I'm so buzzing.
Oh my goodness. So obviously we can sort of have a look at the card, and it is exciting, don't get me wrong. I've got it in front of me, and like some names to know. Obviously we've got Song Yadong and Casey Kenny on the main card starting off, which is quite exciting. Angela Hill again, which I'm actually quite excited for Angela Hill.
So she full.
She was meant to. She was meant to recently, but it got cancelled, and she looked very, very good in her last fight. So I was actually quite looking forward to her. But more importantly, let's talk about the prelims, because we've got Rafael Fitzeve against Bobby Green. Now, let's
go.
Tell me what you think about this, because I'm cool.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't know about Fitzeve, get to know. He's so exciting. Like we have high level strikers in the UFC, right? But like something about like their come up when you're seeing how they can do against the higher up guys. Like I just want him to be in the mix at 55. It's 50, yeah, 55. He's so fun to watch. He's so good, so technical, so powerful, can finish people. He's great. He's so good to watch. And he's got a tough opponent. Bobby Green's no joke.
And I mean, he's a
I mean,
veteran as well. He's had a lot of fights. If I have a look at his
mm,
record, he's had 30, he's 27-11, which is a very decent record. You know what I mean?
yeah,
With one no contest, so he's seasoned. And I know this is a bit of a bold statement, but if I'm in that lightweight division, I mean, there's a lot of fights that you probably look at and think, not really favourable. But I mean, especially at the moment, you look at Islam Makhachev. Not a lot of people want to fight Islam Makhachev.
yeah.
But I would not want to fight this man. His body kicks are debilitating. Debilitating. They are violent. Yeah. He throws with seriously bad intentions every single time. His hand speed's a joke. His body kicks are vicious. And that matrix.
Oh, amazing. Yeah.
Ridiculous. He's
Yeah.
like fucking Israel Adesanya, just stockier.
Just the lower back flexibility is impressive.
Yeah, like honestly, I was like, I can't actually get that far back. But yeah, for anyone that's listening and not watching, basically he has this what do you call
Lean back, like an aggressive lean back from round kicks.
Yeah.
Like people pull out of the way of hooks and stuff, but he does it with like body kicks and shit. It's like massively not necessary, but it's super impressive. And like he counters from it quick.
Yeah, like that sort of. You know what I think it is though? I think that's exactly it though. I think because his feet don't move right, so as he just leans back and gets out the way of that head kick, he's in range perfectly again for those counters, and his counter speed, it's electrifying, mate.
It's like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, and that's
fuck.
It's exactly that. It's not even boom, boom. It's boom, 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 and then he finishes with a body kick, like, as if it's some like Dutch kickboxing style. Always.
Yeah.
And it's exciting.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a very
high
level of striker. But yeah, that's sort of we won't obviously dive too much into the early prelims and the prelims. But if we have a look at this main card, I mean, we've got some
Let's go.
Like I said, Sonya Don, Casey King, which is a good fight. A big fight actually. Those that maybe don't know, and I wouldn't say there's title implications as of yet, but they're not a million miles away. Is Michael Chiesa and Vicente Luque. I mean, Vicente Luque is, mate, he's really coming into his own at the moment. He's looking better and better each fight. And Michael Chiesa is in a strange position. I say it doesn't have title implications, but Michael Chiesa is in a strange position where, I don't know, maybe it could for the next fight, because he was getting called out by Usman saying, yeah, I want Chiesa for the title, which was random.
Yeah.
I thought, but
if he gets an impressive win, he's not a million miles away at all.
And this is the exciting thing, because Vicente Luque, obviously, as we know, he's an impressive kickboxer, man, and he's getting better. And
he's violent.
Yeah, he is violent, and he reminds me of he's Gane. I mean, he is Gane. He reminds me very much of Charlie Olives. Very nice fundamentals. Always comes back to it. Very nice sort of like high guard, like clean striking, like nice to look. And Michael Chiesa, obviously, he's known for this sort of, I don't want to say run him up against the fence, grind him down, sort of wrestling sort of type, but that's how he's got most of his wins. But every time I watch Michael, every time I watch Chiesa, and every time I hear him speak, like he really loves his striking. So I'm hoping that
we get to see
a little bit more of that, because you know what it's like. Every fighter who's not a striker says, "Oh, I actually have really good striking. People just haven't seen it."
Yeah.
But I mean, he backed it, so I think you'll get that drawn out. Do you know what I mean? If he's not very wrestling heavy, Vicente Luque will draw out a striking match. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, for sure. He's not going to shy away from it.
You know what? The fight I'm most excited for on this card.
Main event?
Not even the main event, which is weird, because I'll come on to my love for Silkdown in a minute. Jose
Talk to me. Oh shit! Great fight.
Oh, this.
Aldo, man. Aldo.
I'm gonna. I don't want to jinx it, so I'm gonna say touch wood on this. I genuinely. I wish this was a 5 rounder first and foremost, but if it's a free, it just means the pace is going to be higher. I genuinely
Yeah.
see this as being like a fight of the year contender. Like I honestly feel that strongly about it. Jose Aldo against Pedro Munoz. This is a war.
Scrap.
Yeah.
Scrap. Yeah.
This is a war, and I mean, obviously Jose Aldo's known for those low kicks, but mate, Pedro Munoz has got some of his own, and
He's got naughty. Yeah.
they're violent.
Chop the wood.
He's a killer.
They're both limping out of this one for sure. Both limping out of this one. They'll scrap it out, and it will just be a case of who wants it more.
Because I agree. I don't think it will even.
So I'd give the.
Oh, say that again. Sorry, you cut out a little bit.
I'd give the power advantage to Aldo, naturally the bigger guy, but Munoz is no joke either. He'll put you out. Ask Cody Garbrandt, like he'll knock you out for sure.
Yeah, that he's heavy-handed, mate. He's heavy-handed. I think you're right. I don't think this fight comes down to skill, to be honest. At the end of the day, I think Jose Aldo is more skilled naturally, but not a million miles away. Pedro Munoz is a very, very well-rounded fighter, and I just think that it's going to come down to who wants it more. And when it's one of them fights, that's what
that's what it's all about. Is that co-main?
That's the co-main. It wasn't meant
Beautiful.
to. It was obviously meant to be Amanda Nunes.
Yeah.
Juliana Pena.
Oh yeah, but Nunes has got COVID. Oh, that's shit. But that would have been a nice addition to round this card off. But what can you do, eh? What can you do? But it's still a good card.
Oh yeah, for sure, mate. Yeah, for sure. Like I didn't really go into too much of the prelims and the early prelims, but there's some very good fights there. There's some very, very, very good fights.
Some juiciness. Which
leads us on to take me through your thoughts and feelings for the main card. Well, not the main card, the main fight. Derek Lewis, Gane.
I find it interesting because Gane is definitely a better fighter, but Lewis can definitely win. Like, Gane can't get hit, really. Well, obviously he can, but I don't think he can put Derek Lewis away, but I think Derek Lewis can put him away. So he's either going to win a 5-round decision or get stopped, in my opinion. If this goes a distance, I might eat these words, but I don't think Derek Lewis is going to win.
You don't think he's going to win? You're going...
If it goes a distance, but I do think Lewis will knock him out.
That's... Okay. So you've got, what, Lewis... KO?
By KO, third round.
I mean, I don't think in any division, in any fight, really, apart from maybe if you're talking about Francis, but I mean, it's a similar conversation. I don't think you ever have such a clear 2 paths to victory, really. I don't think it's ever as clear as it really is, because I won't actually sleep on Derek Lewis's athleticism. I think he actually gets overlooked drastically. People just look at him as like, he's this 260-pounder who hits hard. No. Well, I mean...
He's an athlete.
I mean, yes.
He is that, yeah, but he's an athlete as well.
He's an athlete, mate. You don't see a lot of people at that size moving about with flying switch knees and head kicks and...
Oh, yeah.
He brings it. And I've actually got a little bit I prepared on Cyril Gane, but off the dome, I'm going to go into Derek Lewis a bit.
Go for it.
Takedown defense in the UFC, hands down.
Just stand, bro.
Derek Lewis stand up, absolute favourite. And the fact that Olenek couldn't choke him out because his neck was too fat is like, it's one of my favourite.
That's where you're going wrong. Fuck all this jiu-jitsu. Just get on that neck gains.
Have you seen that? Have you seen that picture of Olenek? And he's sort of like in half guard and he's sort of like smiling to the camera.
No, I ain't seen it.
He's in like half guard. You can't really see his hands. I don't know what he's sort of doing with his hands, but he's like looking at the camera, smiling, and he's got a quote from him which basically said he tried to tried to submit him, and he was just like his neck was just too fat, like he couldn't submit him. And I mean, Oliver
That's so jokes.
like 40 odd submissions on his
Yeah,
so,
that's so jokes.
yeah, Derek Lewis is an athlete, and I mean, mate, he's looking sharp. In some of the training videos that I've seen, he's moving a lot better than I've ever seen him move before. But I mean, I think you sort of have to really for this fight, and I think he's going to need to. And it's like I was saying, it's the easiest narrative because if he touches anyone in that division, they're going to sleep. Like he wins.
Yeah.
Which is why it makes him so interesting because he can win any fight. He can lose any fight, but he can win any fight at any given moment. You have a look at the Volkov fight. I mean, he got beaten up for the whole thing. He literally just got beaten up, and then he just slept him. And
Yeah. You can't sleep on Derek. Just stand up, Lewis. 5-round fight, 10-round fight,
imagine he had a little
street fight. He can always put you on your ass.
That would be interesting. Yeah, and ask the fellow who tried to nick his car. I mean,
terrible decision. Terrible decision.
But yeah, having a look at a little bit of a Cyril Gane because, mate, Cyril Gane impresses me. So obviously he fights at MMA Factory, which is in Paris, but that's where Francis started his martial arts career as well, which is interesting because there's sparring footage of them both in 2019, which is really, really interesting. I know they're both really nice guys, so they'd never come out and say anything about each other at the moment, but if or when they fight each other, it'll be interesting to sort of hear that narrative play out because obviously someone must have fancied themselves in that when they were sparring. Do you know what I mean? Someone must have.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
I'll be interested.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting when that narrative sort of comes out. But the thing with Cyril Gane is, mate, he impresses me. Whether he wins this fight or not, he impresses me dramatically. He's 9-0. I would probably say he's one of, if not the most well-rounded fighters in the heavyweight division for sure. Probably the most well-rounded. I mean, he had a heel hook and an arm triangle in his first few fights in the UFC, which is a heel hook.
Unheard of on the high level MMA. Really,
and I think what a lot of people forget is how long he's actually been doing this. I think he's been doing martial arts for 4 years. 4 years.
That's scandalous.
He's 9-0. 4 years. He's got a heel hook. He's got arm triangle. He's got. Let me just take you through some of the wins he's got. Right, JDS, Junior Dos Santos. That was elbows. Biggie Boy, Rosenstrike, Biggie Boy. Volkov, Tanabosa. Obviously, he's got Lewis. And then I was looking through his record, and I was like, "That's a really good win. That's a good win. That's a good win." And then I was thinking, "Oh, he's only been in the game for a few years." So you know what I did? I tallied up his wins combined fights in his 9-0 mixed martial arts career. And a combination of everyone that he's beaten so far has a combination of 141 fights.
Fuck. But he's got 9.
He's got 9.
Yeah.
He's got 9. And people, I'm hearing all this like, oh, he doesn't have the power to fit. He's had 9 martial arts fights in his life.
Yeah.
9. And I'm hearing all this shit. His hand speed, he moves like a fucking middleweight.
Yeah, he's got to be the fastest heavyweight for sure.
Tom Aspinall's probably got a conversation there as well, but Cyril, I mean, they're both just absolute lightning. His footwork's incredible. And I think like you said, I've got Cyril Gane going 5 rounds. And a lot of people were saying if Lewis touches him, he'll go out, which, probably. But do I back Cyril Gane to evade that for 25 minutes? Yeah, I do as well. I actually do. And we've seen him do it before as well. I mean, what impressed me so much was he had that fight against Rosenstrike, which a lot of people said, it was a boring fight. There was no activity. Like, he played it safe. I mean, you would fucking play it safe against Rosenstrike.
Yeah.
If he touches you, you're out. Do you know what I mean? So you would play it safe.
Yeah.
8 fights at that point in the UFC. And then so from that fight to his next fight with Volkov, who is a legit heavyweight competitor, by the way, who has a 41 martial arts fights, which is a lot. He had the most output in the heavyweight history. He had the most significant strikes in heavyweight history. So that's impressive, mate. Like, that's impressive striking ability. Like, honestly, he really I'm excited. I think he's the new era heavyweight. I think so.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I think within the next sort of 2 years, 3 years maximum, he'll be champion. He will be champion, and I really do think that. So I'm gonna say Silgan decision off the back of that.
Decision.
Yeah, I'm gonna say.
Decision.
Yeah, I'm gonna say a 5-minute decision from, what was it, Bongami.
Nice.
Nice.
Bongami.
Bongami.
That's good, that accent, mate. I didn't think I'd nail that. Yeah, interesting. Split opinions on the main event.
And I think one of us is going to be right as well there. Like, one of us is going to be right for sure. Depends who it's going to be.
Don't worry about it, dude. I'm not trying to see a draw.
Mate, I don't think there's going to be a draw. Think about it. If it goes 5-1, that must mean that Derek Lewis has equal pointed Cyril Gane. And if that...
no way.
I'll be most impressed out of any result.
Yeah, to be fair, kept the pace up.
Yeah.
Bongami.
But it'll be interesting to see if he can stop him, because I think that's the question mark over a lot of people. Like, oh, does he have that power? Does he have that power? So, and I mean, when the critics came out and, like what I just said about Rosenstruck, and he came out and then broke all the records. I mean, there's nothing to say that he won't come out and shut up the critics again. So, yeah, that'll be an interesting one, actually. But that's pretty much on my notes, to be fair, unless you've got anything else.
No, I think that pretty much sums us up. A beautiful card this weekend. Ended with some predictions, differed on the main event. What's going to happen? Well, we don't know, but we know one thing for certain. There we go.
As always, people, you know the drill. Thank you for listening. If you made it this far, well done. We'll be watching on Saturday. So get involved in our Instagram, our TikToks, and our YouTube, because the content is running thick and fast. So get involved, have a conversation with us. And as always, if you like what you hear, if you like what you see, drop us a like, drop us a subscribe, all that good stuff. And yeah, enjoy Saturday. Peace.
Peace.